providing options to my students allow for individuals to choose what best shows their mastery of the standard and utilize those executive functions. I found that being conscious of this has given me more insight into my students' abilities, and I think that the so-called teaching to the fringes challenges me as a teacher. It's my job to make sure that the student gets it, and that student that does get it is challenged, and that the student that does not get it is supported and not left behind. I have found that those students that do not get it, once allowed to approach the material in a different way or allowed to express their thoughts differently, end up mastering the standard faster than usual, as opposed to the old school drill, drill, drill means of teaching. Engaging students in their own likes, such as sports, music, the arts, etc., and encouraging expression through how that student learns best gets better results. Stimulating interest in what the student likes, encouraging a student to complete their science fair project on something having to do with basketball, if they're interested in basketball, allows a student to learn more about speed, distance, than they would from a worksheet, because they're motivated by that particular interest in basketball. Initially, I think because of the amount of initiatives in our district this year, I sort of lumped UDL into this pile of things to do, and now that the year is over, I just see it as good teaching. I'm now much more conscious of how I assess student knowledge. Science, which is what I teach, allows for labs, of course, but more hands-on approach. How students show what they've learned on the lab is no longer just the written lab report. I also teach drama, and teaching drama has been a great asset for me. Incorporating the arts, specifically drama, into my science classroom has always been something I've done, but UDL shows that this method can work for most students. Initially, I think it does take more planning on the teacher's part. However, I think for me it forced me to take a closer look at what I want my students to know. Feeling pressured as an 8th grade science teacher to cover 4 subjects in a year is a daunting task, but implementing UDL or just considering the principles of UDL when planning allowed me to focus more on what I wanted the students to accomplish. I think I've tried to make an effort in 2 areas this year. One, providing different ways of teaching the same concept and different approaches to the same end. I made an effort to provide my students with prezzies or PowerPoints, a clip or a video, an article, a hands-on lab, or a project for each unit. And the other thing I've tried working on was allowing students to show me mastery in a variety of different ways. So the iPads that we're lucky enough to have here allowed me to encourage the use of iMovie to make trailers, an app called Sock Puppets that allows students to create silly sock puppet show, and an online science support to illustrate science concepts. I feel students enjoy being able to pick their method of assessment. It gives them a feeling of autonomy in an atmosphere that's very structured and predictable. They think that they're sort of getting out of a test, but they soon realize that regardless of the means to show mastery, that they still have to know what they're talking about.